Stephen Howson, Full-Time Devils. This is the transfer review, the one video that you need to watch to find out what is going on with transfers and then move on with your life. We're outside Old Trafford, we're talking the ins, we're talking the outs, and we are still talking about Fred. For sake! It's not been announced yet, so I'm not going to rate it. It's definitely happening. I'm not 100% what the hold-up is, but I think the hold-up is probably going to be something to do with his work permit. Sounds like we've made an agreement with the club, we've made an agreement with the player. Now we have to go to the government and say, can we get a work permit? And I'm still waiting for the most cringeworthy / amazing thing that's ever going to happen with him popping the head off the mascot Fred. Now, if you don't think that someone sat in a meeting in there and suggested it, you are wrong. So Fred did pick up a little bit of an injury in training after Casemiro went through the back of him, absolutely nailed him. I love that sort of intensity. Days before a World Cup that you're just flying into tackles. Nice one, you ball bag. But it's not going to affect the transfer, I don't think. I don't think it's going to affect his involvement in the World Cup. He has been seen walking without crutches. He looks pretty comfortable. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see how it affects his World Cup. Here's a new name for you. Philip Max Osberg, left back. Occasionally played left midfield or defensive midfield. They mess around with a three at the back, so sometimes he gets pushed a bit further forward. Now, is this a potential thing that Jose Mourinho's looking at? We saw what happened last summer, playing 3-5-2. Philip is an absolute assist machine. 12 assists in the league last season from 33 games. Are you kidding me? That's literally an extra 12 goals on Lukaku's big fat forehead. Easy peasy poo. This is in Team Talk, and they're quoting German reports, and in there they say that Manchester United is his favourite club and he's also ready to go and play for them. It's a new name, it's a new link. There might be something in it. It doesn't feel like there's a lot in it at the moment. And if there is something in it, it's probably going to be that same old situation, isn't it? That we're not going to sign Danny Rose, we're not going to sign Sandro, and we're not going to sign Max at the same time. It's going to be one of those three on that list. I reckon he's probably the most affordable. He's one that probably makes a little bit more sense than the other two in terms of age and attitude issues and all of the other things that are going along with it. I think he's an excellent player. If we signed him, I think that'd be an absolute belter for us. I just don't see anything in it based on this report so far, so I'm going to give him a 3 out of 10 at the moment. Who's written this? Arnautovic. Now, this is a name that I'm actually a bit bored of hearing it already. It's not the exciting name that we all want, is it? It might be the jigsaw piece that Jose Mourinho's looking for to free up Lukaku and have someone putting the balls in the box for him and give us some sort of tactical flexibility. But like you lot, it's not a name I'm excited about. I'm certainly not excited about it for 60 million, which is what West Ham reckon they want. Now, this is in Football London. This is either Arnautovic saying the same old, or the newspaper saying the same old, and recycling quotes from last week. I don't know which is more likely, to be honest. He's basically done the old footballer denial. Oh, I don't know anything about it. I have a contract with West Ham, yada, 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 yada. Why do people bother asking him? At the moment, 2 out of 10. Alderweireld. Now, we don't sit here thinking, how can we start transfer rumours? Except Tino Werner, because we kind of did with that one. But we didn't set out to make Alderweireld to United a thing. It was already out there. We made a profile on him. And then Lou Macari replied to it with a reasonable question. He doesn't play. Why is he being considered? And then he was like, well, Johnny Evans, only 3 million quid. And Alderweireld doesn't play. Why is he worth so much? Now, it's not a bad question, really. I mean, it shows how perception plays into these things. The mad thing about this is that HITC decided to make an article about this little exchange between the Full-Time Devils account and Lou Macari, showing you just how easy these transfer rumours and these transfer stories just start to gather pace in the summer. Absolute madness, isn't it? Now, I'm not going to base it on this article because this article is just trash, but I think Alderweireld is on United's list. At the moment, I don't think anything's going to happen until after the World Cup, so I've got to give it a 6, and let's wait and see. Ronaldo, my days. 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. I think he was pretty likely in 2013 before Fergie retired. 2015, 2016, 2017, and would you have it, we can't go an entire summer, can we, without someone linking Manchester United to Cristiano Ronaldo. Ugh. After the Champions League final, he decides to come out, and he knew what he was doing. He was just going to steal all the headlines from Gareth Bale, who knew what he was doing as well. And obviously, the one place that you're going to link to him, the one of like 2 places that you're going to link him to, is United. And would you Adam and Eve it? He's only gone and got a contract offer floating on the table for him. Did anybody expect this to go any other way than that he was going to get a new contract? because I didn't. Not even spent half of 1 second getting excited about it. I was bored of it before he even said it. 0 out of 10. Don't talk about Ronaldo coming to United, because it's not happening. He wasn't even at Soccer Aid. There's a lot of people around here. Daily Star are quoting Macola's favourite, absolute bullshit peddlers, Don Ballon, and they've excelled themselves today. They've come out and they've said, United are looking at Mbappe. Now, Mbappe was on loan at Paris Saint-Germain this season that's just gone, and the fee had already been set for him to move permanently, which I think is what's about to happen this summer. Technically, we all know it's a big shell game, don't we? That they're saving money here, there and everywhere. But the fee was 180 million euros. Now, United are pretty stacked in the position that Mbappe plays in. If you believe the reports that Jose Mourinho is after a second sort of striker, then it's going to be the guy that's in the mould of Arnautovic, Mandzukic, the Benzema, that kind of player. We don't need a backup to Marcus Rashford.
In the comments, we're going to start some beef in there right now.
If you know what I'm saying. Don't need that sort of player. Not for 180 million euros, we don't anyway. It's in Don Ballon. He gets a 0 out of 10. You know as well as I do, this ain't happening. A new name on the horizon for everybody is João Cancelo. This isn't Calcio Mercato. The right back has been on loan at Inter Milan for the entire season. He's had a pretty decent season. But I saw last week that it was Wolves that he was linked to, which makes me, and with Mendes being his agent, I'm like, it's going Wolves, isn't it? They're doing something there at Wolves. You want to keep an eye on Wolves. Get whatever you can now, not only Wolves to stay up, but maybe even break into the top 10, because they're going to be doing bits, especially if they sign players like Cancelo. So like we saw last week when it was like, oh, 2 Chinese clubs and Manchester United are interested in Talisca. It's going China, obviously. So when he gets linked with Wolves and then he gets linked with United, this is the same with Richarlison at the start of last season, when it's like, he's been linked with Watford and Chelsea and United. You're like, so he's going Watford then, is that what you're saying? So this is what I'm thinking. He's going Wolves, they've thrown United in because then it makes Wolves fans think that they're getting a player that was linked with United, and you know how the transfer window works. He's not coming United, 1 out of 10. Gareth Bale, since Sports Witness, and Sports Witness, as usual, give us a good breakdown, and they're saying, Don Ballon are saying, Gareth Bale is willing to do anything.
Thick legs.
Anything.
Thick legs. But anyways, the point...
What? To get to Tottenham and will reject a move elsewhere. This comes 1 week after they said that Liverpool was in for him, and he would reject a move to Liverpool and go to Old Trafford. Don Ballon. Honestly. You're like El Metro. I think about the wages that he's on at Real Madrid after winning 3 back-to-back Champions Leagues. He's going to be on some significant till. And Spurs are notoriously bad payers. Hence why Kyle Walker left, hence why there's always rumours of all them players leaving. They don't pay the wages. Do you think they're going to pay the wages to Gareth Bale when he might be injured for a third of the season? Ed Woodward would. Ed Woodward would love to. Not Daniel Levy. Bale at Tottenham. 9 out of 10. Yaya Toure. Now Yaya Toure has obviously got some sort of personal beef with Guardiola. I'm all behind that. But you knew he was going to get linked with United. You knew he was going to get linked with everywhere. Last week we covered it in Tomorrow's Transfers Today when we was talking about the fact that he said he'd play for £1. It was more of being a figure of speech, wasn't it, than anything else? And he'd play for any of the top 6 clubs for £1. The newspapers then decide that they're going to run with that and say that Yaya Toure wants to play for Manchester United for £1. Not what he said. Not really what he meant either. But you know how the papers work. Now Yaya Toure played a charity game this weekend at Old Trafford against Neil from the In-Betweeners, and it looked like it was his level. This is a guy that's just won the Premier League, allegedly, with Manchester City, and he's thinking about going to a top 6 club. On the basis of that performance this weekend, I wouldn't pick him for full-time Devils, let alone Manchester United. Do I think he's coming United? I actually can't rule it out. There's a very Zlatan-esque feel about this. Jose Mourinho loves his old war horses. He'd love to get one over on Pep Guardiola. Would he sign Yaya Toure for £1 a week to do it? Probably give him the quid himself. 4 out of 10. Oh my God. Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, one of the most wanted, especially if you read the papers, players in Europe. Hell of a footballer. Certainly someone who could definitely bring something to Manchester United if he was the sort of player that we wanted to go and get and we was able to go and get. I don't know how you'd fit him plus the other 3 midfielders that are first choice in the system, but that's by the by. Now this is in the sun, sorry. and it's Il Messaggero. Who are they? They don't know who they are? Let me know in the comments, because I've never heard of them. Like, I don't know if that's the Metro, or I don't know if that's like a tablet handed to you by Eric himself. Anyway, so these guys are saying that, oh, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic linked to United, linked with Juventus, linked with Paris. Now Real Madrid are interested and they're willing to pay the fee. So that's the biggest team in England, France, Italy, Spain. What a coincidence. Off. Now what they're saying is logical, but just because it's logical doesn't mean it's going to happen. Real Madrid want to bring the average age of their team down. Okay, if I'm buying that for a second. Milinkovic-Savic would have the same sort of problems fitting in there as he does in what United's stacked midfield is at the moment. Probably less chance of getting game time if he went to Real Madrid. Juventus makes sense. Paris, I don't know. Was he going to sit on the bench behind Fellaini? I don't know. Whatever. Real Madrid, behind Cruz, behind Modric. I'm not seeing it, but it is the sort of player that I can see them going for and spending big money on. So I can't completely rule that deal out. As it stands to United, it's quiet, innit? It's the World Cup. I don't think there's anything that's going to break until all these teams start getting eliminated. It's going to be well tedious. 3 out of 10 to United at the moment. That was the ins, this is the outs, and the first ones on the outs basically could have been a bullshit bingo. Someone would have tweeted us, someone would have been like, that's a pretty good bullshit bingo. Absolute nonsense. Marcus Rashford being linked with a move to Leicester, to Newcastle, and also Everton are keeping tabs on it. Even the Mail don't believe in their own story that they're writing. There's like, oh, there's a small chance. All right, there's a small chance I'm turning out for England this week as well. But guess what? I'm not. And neither's Marcus Rashford leaving on loan. Why do you want him to leave on loan? He played more games than any other player at Manchester United last season. Yes, before you all jump into the comments, he didn't play as many once Sanchez came, but the fact remains, he's played a hell of a lot of football under Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho knows what he's getting from him, and he knows the development track that Marcus Rashford is on. Is he going to benefit more by being starved of service in someone like Newcastle? Can't see it. Rashford's going nowhere, 9 out of 10. Metro Time, Ander Herrera is the name that they're writing about, and when you start reading the article, you're like, oh my God, have they actually written something themselves? Oh no, it's parroted from the Daily Mail, there you go. Metro Sport Reporter, the name at the top of it, because no one wants to put the name to the absolute tripe that they serve up. And they're saying, the Mail are saying, Ander Herrera wants to stay and fight at Manchester United, despite the fact that we've signed Fred. Fair play. I think if Ander Herrera was played regularly, could play regular, he could become a real key player for Manchester United. I love the guy's attitude, I love the determination in him. That for me is something that we massively lack. It doesn't feel all warm and fuzzy inside. I still think that there's a chance, despite what's being said, that Ander Herrera might move on. So this article saying he's staying, even though it's in the outs, I don't know, how do I give this? I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10 that Ander Herrera goes next season. Hell of a lot of people here today. Marouane Fellaini, I cannot wait till it's the end of this month and I don't have to talk about him anymore, because then his contract's up and he can just sling it and go wherever he wants. Supposedly there's still an offer on the table from United. I need to go and find that table and that offer and bin it. What's funnier than all of that though is that Arsenal, with their style of play, we play beautiful football, imagine having Jose Mourinho as manager and all that. Haha, Fellaini is the name that you guys are being talked about getting. And I can actually see it happening. 10 out of 10, 15 out of 10, 21 out of 10. Let's not, this isn't me saying it's happening. This is how much I want it to happen. Please sign Marouane Fellaini, Arsenal. I will laugh my bollocks off. Here's another from the MEM, but it's not lies for a change. Sergio Romero. Sergio Romero's come out and said that he's no intention of leaving. If the club decides that they want to sell him and Jose Mourinho tells him that they've got a really good offer for him, then he'll go. But at the moment, he's happy where he is. On one hand, I think this is amazing. I think that's a player is just happy to be at the club so much that they're like, yeah, I'll play like, I don't know, half a dozen games a year, and I'm pretty sweet with that. To be fair, I'd be pretty happy playing half a dozen games a year for United, but I'm from here. This is an Argentinian geezer who apparently has the same sort of love and affection that we all do. How cool is that? But on the other hand, I go, how unambitious are you? I mean, this guy would have been Argentina's #1 goalkeeper if it wasn't for the operation that he's had to have at a World Cup, and he hasn't been first choice in the entire time he's been here, which is now like nearly 3 years. What a ledge. He's not going anywhere, he loves it. 0 out of 10. Here we have a classic example of somebody twisting a headline to suit their agenda. Agenda! David De Gea, it's in goal. And what they're saying is David De Gea refuses to rule out a move away from Manchester United this summer. Does he? or does he refuse to answer your f***ing bullshit questions? It's the second one, isn't it, right? David De Gea was asked about his future at Manchester United and he goes, I'm at the World Cup, I just want to focus on the World Cup. That's the only thing that matters and we have to be fully focused on it. Blah, 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 blah. Standard player answer. And the journalists are like, right, well, he didn't say he was leaving. So we can say he didn't say he was leaving. I can't give it a 0 out of 10 because there's always a small part of me that thinks that at some point it's going to happen, innit? I just hope it's not now. Dave, just stay. You could go down as the greatest goalkeeper this club's ever had, and we've had some bangers. And Roy Carroll. Oh yeah, you're alright. I'm alright. It's time for the bullshit bingo, and we've got a cracker this week. Nathan, you've absolutely knocked it out of the park with this one. Dwight York to Hartlepool in their bid for League Two. You can see it happening. And I'm not the only one who thought it was believable because some local Tees Valley account has also retweeted it, and I don't reckon that they know about our game, did they? Anyway, if you want to get involved in bullshit bingo, then hashtag BS Bingo, send it to us with your wild, fantastic and utter bollocks rumours that you think could happen. Neil from the In-Betweeners to sign for Leicester. I don't know, something like that. If you want more transfer news, we are back at 11 o'clock this evening and every single weekday evening for your transfer fix. Tomorrow's transfers today. Make sure you be there or be square. Make sure to subscribe. Get any of your comments in below and we'll reply to the best ones, not the idiot ones. We don't reply them. You can sling it. The best ones. If you've got to write a good comment or a good question, maybe I'll reply to it. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll ignore you. Whatever. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Laters.